I know that in this hectic landscape, sometimes it's hard to, buckle down and, decide what you're going to be a part of. So just the fact that you're here on the journey with me, I really appreciate it. So thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to the media. You guys have been with me since DV8. Yes, behind the scenes, some of you have footage which you shouldn't release, and keep it that way. Some of you have footage that you have released now. Thank you guys so much for your influence as well as media. Thank you to all the team that's been behind the scenes as well. Everyone who's ever supported me, NavCorp, Talent, all the people who made me what I am. Thank you so much. Clear Cut in the building, definitely. And of course, my ghostwriter, Count Machel as well, who's in the building. Thank you guys so much. Code, and I see all the guys who are putting in work, and I really appreciate the industry as it stands right now. So thank all of you guys. My name is Lubuama Daniel Chigozi. I'm an artist who started off 10 years old, was the first time I was ever in the studio. I was produced by some unknown producer called Steve Jean. he was an intern at Bava Studios in Lunguja, which is of course Ruvaga. Lunguja is like the same neighborhood. So that's the first time I ever got into studio. Since then, we've kind of been working to get better and better, bigger and better. The Clear Cut days, through the Talent and Navio days, into where we are now. It's been a long journey. Like I say, 35, 40 countries toured representing Ugandan music. Closer to 70 awards now. For the music we've put in, and there's just 1,000 stories between here and there that I could mention. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's been an epic journey, and you guys have been on that journey with me, as well as a lot of the sponsors on here as well have been on that journey with me. So I wouldn't be here without you guys. The fans, all of the fans that are watching, you guys are the ones who fuel us and make us better, man. So thank you guys so much for that. Yeah, so I'm neighborhood Navio, man. You never know what neighborhood you're gonna catch me in.
Yeah, neighborhood Navio. All right, so I feel like, honestly speaking, Timothy Cord is here. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Navio gives the best interviews. Every time you come to the show, best interviews, always very professional, fun, and name it, everything in between. So we've really witnessed your journey because you've actually given us, chance to look into your life. You keep showing up for interviews over time, so most of the things that you say here we probably already know, and everyone is just happy to be part of your journey right now. If you could please tell us a little bit, if there's a story right before Clear Cut, I'd like you to start there and then bring us all here. If you could just tell us Navio in terms of the music, what's the story?
I think Navio, pre-Clear Cut or around the Clear Cut days, was more of a hype man. That's what people don't know or realize. I was never the most lyrical or the most and nothing's changed. No, but I was never the most talented in the group. But I know I had to represent for the guys that were in the group with me. So yeah, there may have been times where I ran on stage and I would just shout the whole time, "Get your hands up, put your hands down, lefty, righty, hands in the air." But I knew that I had to get better, and I knew there had to be more substance with what I do. And I had very good teachers in KUT, Clear Cut, to kind of get my rhymes together and have me become, the battle MC that gets respect from Kenya to Nigeria to South Africa, to become that MC who is able to travel around and be known on other continents and take selfies. Malaysia, some of the most unexpected places that we get stopped, by people on the continent and off the continent to take selfies. So I'd say that was really, one of the funniest things. And I may share footage with the media of me jumping up and down, saying not much of anything when I used to get on stage. So it's weird to see that journey. Another one would be, you need another one, or we leave it today.
We can leave it right there. I got a couple of questions.
Yeah,
all right. I feel like most rappers, and this is not just in Uganda, this is all over the world, when you look at, what they're doing with their free time, let's say they're behind the scenes, or let's say their music as well. I find like you're one of those artists that really do care about the community. And just to throw you to here at the 20 years, we're watching something called Project X on NBS television. And while I was watching one of the episodes, I realized one thing, that you're digging into culture, into tradition, into people. And I really strongly believe that the biggest tourist attraction that we have in Uganda is actually the people, not necessarily the animals. So that gets me to my question. How important is community to you, and what exactly are you doing with Project X?
Yeah, I mean, community is huge. For me personally, I think I never really put it at the forefront at times when I should have. But I think even from the clear cut days, you know, we had one of the biggest tours around to raise awareness, AIDS awareness. And this is like back in 2002, 2003. We were part of the, you know, a lot of those big pushes for awareness. Of course, everybody knows I'm in and out of the refugee camps a lot, you know, and that's just from my own experience, you know, having this displaced between here and, you know, Kenya during the Civil War and stuff. So people know about that as well. Off the ground as well, people with disabilities. We work, you know, hand in hand with them. Women's empowerment programs, so many over the years. Child education programs, girls' child education programs, alongside Rahu and the crew. Really, I'd say that if, you know, people always like, oh, you give 150% of your time to music, but I'd say if I have 100%, 30% of my time is probably dedicated to that community outreach. But I don't really talk about it. It's not really at the forefront of what people want to know about Navio. That's more of a Luama Daniel thing. But it is very important. And of course, you know, I see Baba in the building as well. You know, he's all about community. And we've had talks and stuff over the years. I think there's a mutual respect for what we do above the line, below the line, in the hood, out the hood. For projects we've been a part of. I think any hip hop or anyone who's involved in hip hop from our days, whether it's the Sylvester's, Abrams, Baba, us guys, Clear Cut, it's something that came with the hip hop responsibility, and that's the difference between us and a lot of genres. The community is part of what we do.
I thank you so much. Because when we're celebrating Navio, as much as I would like to keep it completely to the music, I told you that you're very inspirational in terms of people who just love the rap culture or the music entertainment industry. It kind of, you know, tells you that do this, but you also got to do this. You have to check yourself. You have to always look dapper. You have to look clean. You have to, you know, go out there and represent us. In that spirit, you mentioned of Baba Luku. It's good to have you in the building. And yeah, thank you for your community contributions. Lyrical G is also in here. So if you came to celebrate Navio, you know the vibes. You know, Champion Flex the Paper is in the building as well. Ugandan All-Star always making sure. And this champion has been filming since Joakali. I don't know, way before that. So he's like, has the whole East Africa, you know, right there on his computer. So
35 years in the game.
Hey,
We're celebrating his 35 years.
I know. Isabel, UG, big up on yourself. You know, can't wait to see your blankets and wine. I know you're shutting it down. So we definitely have a great time.
Big fan.
Yep. So from your bigger community, like I said before, something I admire about you. And when you're celebrating 20 years of Navio, like you've always put everything out to the public, you know, tell us a little bit about being a rapper and a family man at the same time. How do you, you know, take care of your kids, your family, when you're also here very heavy?
Yeah, I believe that both go hand in hand. None of you know, the men and women are in this building right now doing what they do for the sake of their jobs. They're doing it for the sake of family. So I think it's never a competition between family and work. You work for your family. Family for me is the most important thing. And I think that work ethic was, you know, it was kind of early. I had my son is now 14. You know, he's a big boy. He's bigger shoes than me, bigger hands. You know what I mean? So it's beautiful to see them grow and how he's kept me focused. I believe that I had a certain amount of expectations coming in, but when he was born, you know, that really made me reassess how I want to be remembered, and how hard I go. So for me, family and work, they go hand in hand. The expression you see, the creativity, the drive, the consistency that people mention. For me, I get that because I get that reminder every time I go home that I'm not working for me, I'm working for family. So the two go hand in hand.
All right, I've already seen enough videos of people saying that they're coming to the Navio concert, and I'm talking about, big artists, already endorsing that they're coming to party with us. What should, we expect from Navio on the D-Day?
I think this is like what my ninth show. This for me is 20 years because nothing is guaranteed. We're not guaranteed I'm gonna get a 30 years. We're not guaranteed I'm gonna get a 40 years. So for me, this is such a huge milestone. Everything has to be on point, spectacular, and I have to show what those 70 awards, what those 35, 40 countries that we've toured, what the experiences with different programs, everything from 1/8 to Twendekazi to the Channel O nominations, everything from Clear Cut, the days touring around Africa, from bus, boda to private jet, I gotta show what all of that has taught me for 2 to 3 hours on a stage. That's how I'm regarding it. So for me, it's life or death. Like everything my brand is built to, everything that we've been coming to, is coming to a head here. But then also at the same time, it's a huge celebration. I made it back from West Africa. I made it back from Asia and everywhere that I've been. All those awards, I've made it back from there, bringing it home. So now for me, it's like a coming home story. And this is how it ends. Like, this is the huge celebration. People are coming to party. People are coming to have fun. So yeah, even my closest friends that I've been talking to are like, we're here to celebrate. As much as everything's gonna be running smoothly, the first and foremost, we're here to celebrate and have a good time. So yeah, man, if you want to be at the craziest party in town, make sure you guys come down, and have a good time. I think it's a safe spot that we've picked. Thank you to Sheraton for providing such a safe dynamic, whether it comes to the VIPs, or everyone else who's coming, the regular folk like me. We're all gonna be in the same place, all gonna be safe, all gonna be taken care of, great security. The place is walled in, really nice, and a breezy gardens in Sheraton. Who doesn't want to be in a situation like that? It's very central. I'm really looking forward to the experience.
Right. Also to celebrate NBS Television, NRG, Afromobile, Navcorp, Pepsi, Max, Kampala, Serena Hotel, FlexiPay, Stanbic Bank, Talent Africa, and Hennessy one time again. Thank you so much for being part of this. After this next question, we'll let questions come from the audience.
Absolutely.
So put together your questions. But this one is, yes, please.
Yes, and also I wanted to mention that. We have a book that's coming out October 19th. So all of the experiences that I've learned over this 20 years, we have a book that's coming out. I have my partner that I'm working with on it called Jeffrey Samaganda. And I wanted him to say a few words about the project, before we get to the questions. And yes.
You wrote a book?
Yes, I've been writing it.
I think the biggest challenge we face in Africa is that we don't value what wealth is. Because 20 years, there's a person behind those 20 years. And one of the reasons we're the most undervalued human beings on the planet, because nobody knows who we are. If you Google him, you're not going to find much. So one of the reasons I'm encouraging every single one of you, especially people like you, people follow, you have to tell us who you are. Where do you come from? What you stand for? Where you going? How you getting there? What contributions are you making? Because this is a chapter of your life. There's another chapter. Music ends sometimes, right? But you're still a young man. There's a lot to go. There's so many chapters in his life. His story is incredible. I did the research, asked some young people about Navio. You know what they used to tell me? He's just a rich kid. Doesn't even need the money. What does he do? Well, I've known his mother for the last 15 years. That's how I got to know Navio. His mother is the woman who basically introduced me to him. I did some research on him, the amount of work he puts in. But then I told him that beside the music, how can people in the country across Africa get to know how you do what you do so they can emulate what you do going forward? so many artists have disappeared. So many wealthy individuals in Africa have completely disappeared. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they did. And by the way, if you don't write, don't worry, they'll write for you. The key is, would you want to really be happy with what they said? So every single artist and every single one of you, anything that's not documented doesn't exist. Anything that's not documented doesn't exist. The reason why, I live in the UK, my company is actually publishing that we're helping to do this. One of the reasons really confused me, how come those countries call them wealth countries? When the UK borrow £20 billion a month to pay their bills, why do we call them wealthy? Because they document everything. Here, even people in Uganda, when I come here, they said to me, why are you writing things down? Are you Muzungu? So it has to document. And also beyond documentation, your program is a training program. It's going to be shared all across the country, all across Africa, teaching them what made you who you are, so that you don't die. You see, people don't die as long as they do what? Document. But I'll leave you with this, especially here in Uganda. My name is Samaganda. But what happens here, we don't value documentation. They even call it butabo. They're only
with calendars. So we usually just do whatever we feel like. I think at this point, whatever date felt good was what we're going to go with. We're saying to ourselves, we need 3 months, 4 months for the build-up. And this seemed to be the perfect date. I don't think we're when it comes to a 20-year, you can't be very particular about the timing. You have to just do it when this is when I started, September 2003. So this is when I have to have my concert. So we weren't very particular about the date, but we did announce the date before any of the other shows that are on the date.
I'm JK. I don't know her from where, but
the legend.
I do many things. First of all, congrats on the 20 years. It's not easy. 20 years, not just in music, but in business. But celebrating 20 years is such a lovely landmark. So a round of applause for Navio. And I remember 20 years ago, 5 young kids came to me and they said they have a song and I had to play it on Jam Agenda. And the very first hip-hop video was All I Wanna Know. We played it 20 years ago on Jam Agenda, the first ever hip-hop video. And with that, I just want to know, is Juliana going to be part of this? Are the boys coming? Is JB, Papito, are they coming for the 20 years? And also, is Peter Mars going to be around? Because Ruckus was such a wonderful, Ruckus was a classic. And I think we were just talking here, I think you deserve a documentary. So with Simari, we're going to do a documentary for you for 20 years in the game. And there's so many things that you have done. I don't know if you remember R. Kelly, where you selected among so many, few African rappers to represent the country. You and R. Kelly on the Jam and all these Nigerians. So you've had such a wonderful career. Of course, people saying, oh, you're a planned kid, rich and all that. Yeah, but you've earned it. You've earned it. It's not that you've had a soft spot or anything. You've earned it. And being around 20 years and playing the very first song and giving you that platform, I'm grateful for this. And so we can't wait for the documentary. And big up and massive for the 20 years.
Yeah, man. No, thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks for the appreciation. Thank you for playing us. If it wasn't for that show, we wouldn't be celebrating anything at all. So no, thank you very much for believing us, man. Though you are also a kid, actually. You are also. Yeah, planned and even you. Sorry, while we're on the subject, they're planned kids and then they're also international kids. So a lot of the artists that hopefully are going to be able to make it, some of them have to get visas to Uganda even now. Wow. So there are a lot of artists and a lot of collaborations that we've done, but we're going to try and get as much as we can into the show. We had the show down from about 130 songs down to now 50 songs, and we're going to cut that down to fit in for the 2 hours, which is maybe about 25 songs. So we're also having a hard time. Please, members of the press, let us know what songs they want to hear. That'll be very instrumental. Also, remember that Stanbic and FlexiPay are doing some giveaways online as well. They're going to be doing huge promotions. A lot of the sponsors up here will be doing promotions on their page as well for giveaways to those die-hard fans of both Navio and the brands that they represent. So I'm looking forward to all of that. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of action. It is 20 years of Navio, so if it's just me alone, which has never happened, be happy. But now we have a lot of people coming for this, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
We decided by online, before we even understood it. It seemed like, oh, we're going to do this vote for this awards or that awards, or you get into this, or this is now how big you're going to be. When we started getting attached to a number, statistically, I knew that it was going to be difficult for us in Africa. So that's the first time I was like, wow, you have all these great artists who are so amazing at what they do, but if they don't have the stats to back them up, does that really mean that they're not dope artists anymore? I think that for me was one of the biggest things. The shift to online was a moment where I was like, oh wow, so my ability to freestyle and rap and battle and do whatever I do, where does that now rank in this online world where they're like, Navio, you only have 2 followers? I still don't think it's a good way for us to judge acts and artists, because and even music videos, stuff like that, it's not a good way to judge artists, because any big artist will walk out on stage, albeit at Diamond Platinums. In Uganda, Joanita Kawalia will walk out on the same stage and you'll see what the crowd will do. But she's not about followers, and she's not about music videos and anything like that. So it's very hard to judge artists. That would be one of the times that I thought, it was going to be, but that was also like 15 years ago. So. I kept going.
Kick off in the next couple of seconds. Big tune.